Untold story. When I was in college at Western Washington University in Bellingham, part of my application process for after graduation was United States Navy to be a chaplain. Secondly, a teacher with children. And thirdly, I wanted to study at Berkeley with Linda Williams to learn about feminism. I studied feminist film, was close friends with a group of women who shared meals with me, and we talked about intelligent words and language and philosophy, and they taught me feminism was very similar and has characteristics relating to Buddhist practices to have freedom and not have some man in a workplace use his eyes, his intellect, his genius, and his brilliance and body and language to restrict and limit and control and minimize hormones and chemicals talked about in biopsychology. Achieving success with no freedom for an employee standing tall and proud and not always having to whisper and show a face of positive emotion and a disposition of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And part of what feminism with neuroscience has to do with an untold story has to do with blood flow in brain. A hard topic in neuroscience with minimal books available on Amazon and a little more specialized than me as an aspiring applicant. Now, however, having been a nanny, having learned with women in college, there's a difficulty with thinking and thought and how a brain works well relaxed. A transcendental meditation teacher, David Lynch, talked about catching a fish, a big fish, during a sit and letting ideas not be a search and decision and cognition, and rather a calm and peaceful process involving a system inside of a brain. Nobody but a human with an anatomy I talked about now can disrupt during visualization practice, a traditional indigenous ceremony, to have an awakening, and to improve what a mind in psychology calls hallucination. For some people with diagnoses described as schizophrenia, confusing, in world, in home with a significant other people shopping in a grocery store, done with a drug and searching for food with small amounts of money. And in the 1900s, LSD, mushrooms, psychedelic options distributed amongst protesters during the Vietnam War. And in San Francisco, as a few examples now. Blood flow with brain having difficulty can cause, unfortunately for some people, aneurysms. In other words, pushing the brain too hard to get to a thought and to see are counterintuitive to a process in a system inside of a brain a doctor can't explain, a philosopher can't write about and draw on a paper to cause a visionary neuron and synapses to have consciousness inside of a brain. In order an important part of good blood flow to a brain has to do with a safe home, energy, sleep, and decision making. A kind of practice to not get hungry, to not get afraid and have emotion, and lose awareness and attention. Allowing concentration and focus to enlighten consciousness and restart a process, avoiding risk. For some people, in a different context, social thinking, fast social thinking, similar to solving mathematical equations in advanced engineering and sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting. And using fast thinking as intelligence, such as a workplace with women who are dominated by another woman. Any human who doesn't respect freedom inherent in a human's hands, their eyes blinking, and especially their awareness and attention needed for concentration and focus and successful workplace accomplishments now. The more relaxed, the more freedom for brain consciousness, more spontaneous adventure, more design ideas for a robot named Mimo. And a benefit for body to have some rest and then speed slowly with energy, allowing the neurons to have the hands complete a task, cook a meal, and brain decision making to have safety and security and better and more free now. Quiet and silent, a clock, sound, noise. And for some more advanced practitioners, music. And then stimulation for more tantric practices and teachings in Buddhism can be adjusted. Not always at maximum. And then a fear eventually also gets eliminated. Having no stimulation, boredom, repetition, and another important achievement described as in some shamanic language as a journey. Ending now, safe,